Hello there, everybody. This is going to be a unique video. This is the first time I've done an update for Town of Salem. I've been through a couple of updates while I've been on YouTube, and I've never really addressed them in a single video. But this is a major update for the game. This is the Coven announcement. It just came out today. Basically, they are giving Town of Salem a lot more roles, a new witch faction, and just a lot more depth, which I am, of course, a fan of since I love me some Town of Salem. So, first things first. The Coven. The Coven, from what I can tell through reading this, the Coven is a new faction that can take the place of a mafia. I'm not sure that now they're gonna have different role lists, like playlists. So they said they're gonna have Coven specific playlists, but I'm not sure if you queue up for like rank to rank practice, if the game is going to give like a 50-50 shot of spawning the Coven or the Mafia. But it's a new faction. Basically, it takes the idea of the witch and makes it its own faction. Basically, so we'll just read through this. The Coven is a new faction of witches that will enter the never-ending death that is Town of Salem. The Coven will include 5 new witch roles, and the current witch will take the place as the Coven leader. One of the Coven's greatest strengths is the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon's ancient powers will amplify the ability of any witch that possesses it. Check out the roles below. Now we're actually going to go ahead and go to the more in-depth role page here. So we're just going to go down the list. This might be a long video, by the way, because I'm going to go through every role and give my thoughts on them. So this is probably going to be like, it might be a 20-30 minute video. I don't know. But I feel like there's a lot to cover. And I'm going to have a good time covering it. So Hexmaster. The Hexmaster is a Coven role with the ability to hex players. When all non-Coven players left alive have been hexed, the Hexmaster deals an unstoppable attack to all players hexed. Players are not told they are hexed. So it's basically like arsonist in that sense of the gameplay. Hexing a player can be stopped by a bodyguard or trapper protection. With a Necronomicon, you are no longer considered visiting anytime you hex someone. So you can't be stopped by those rolls. So basically, the Hex Master is like arsonist for the Coven. Let's say there's 3 Coven and 3 townies left. If you have all 3 of the remaining townies dead, you kill all the rest of the townies and the Coven wins. Now, if you have a Necronomicon in the game, you aren't considered visiting someone when you're hexing them. So a trapper, which is the Newtown Protective, a bodyguard, or like here it says that, well, you can't die to a werewolf either when you go to hex somebody, but you don't technically visit them. Or I'm assuming a lookout can't see you either. So interesting role there. The Poisoner. The Poisoner's attack is delayed basic attack that takes 1 day to effect and can be cured by a heal after the initial visit. Players know when they are poisoned. With the Necronomicon, poisoning can no longer be cured. Any temporary defense, such as jailing a player or protecting them as the bodyguard, only other than healing, does not stop the poison. So, by any defense at the time of the attack night, wait, hold on, what is it? But any defense at the time of the attack higher than none will stop the poison. Okay, well, anyway, so it's basically like a time delay killing. So you poison somebody, they know that they're poisoned. That day they could be like, yo, I'm poisoned, doctor, like, heal me. But if there's no doctor, you can't be guarded or you can't be jailed because the poison's still going to go through. Interesting role there. Potion Master. This role can select between 3 potions to use: a healing potion, a revealing potion, and an attacking potion. Each of these potions has a 3-day cooldown, so you have to be strategic as to which potion that you use. However, if there's a Necronomicon in the game, there is no cooldown for the potions. The Potion Master works like any other role that would heal, investigate, or attack would work when using each of the respective potions. Now, if you go to right here, it kind of shows you what the Potion Master's screen would look like during the night select. So there's a Necronomicon in the game from the maybe I can't tell, but if there's no Necronomicon, there's no cooldown on them. If there isn't a Necronomicon, then you have to wait during the cooldown delay on it, and you can only use it once every 3 nights. Medusa. Medusa is a witch role that is able to use her gaze to turn people that visit her to stone, dealing a powerful attack. Players that have been turned to stone won't have their role list or last will revealed. With the Necronomicon, she can visit other players and turn them to stone. Unlike the janitor, Medusa will not be told the role of the player. So, it's kind of like a veteran for the Coven almost. And people do attack her, their will is gone, basically, like a janitor. And if there's an Necronomicon, she's turned basically into a killing janitor, but she won't know their role. Interesting role there. The Necromancer, basically the Necromancer, you want the Necromancer in your game if you're the Coven. It boosts all of your abilities for the other Coven members. Can control the corpses of dead players to use their ability on their second target, and then the corpse rots, allowing only one use of a corpse. With the Necronomicon, the reanimated corpse uses a basic attack on the Necromancer's second target. This role seems really powerful. this seems like the best role out of all of them, quite honestly, from what I've seen. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this role works with using abilities for like shit like transporter and stuff like that. I'm really interested to see how that works. And then the Coven Leader, which is basically the old witch, which is now the Coven Leader, has the ability to control the actions of other players. With the Necronomicon, her attack is to drain the target of their life force, dealing a basic attack, and has a basic defense. So basically, if there's a Necronomicon, the witch not only controls the person, so if you control a Vig, you can shoot a town with a Vig, but you also kill the Vig in the process, from what I'm gathering there. So that's the Coven. That's the new faction. Now we move on to the new town roles. So there's a couple of new town protectives, a couple new investigatives. It's a couple of interesting roles in here. So the Crusader is a town protective role with the ability to protect a player each night, giving them powerful defense, but will use a basic attack against another visitor. So it's like a bodyguard, but it kills anybody that visits. So you don't necessarily have to attack to die if you're a lookout or an escort or anybody or even a retributionist. Actually, no, not a retributionist. That makes sense. But escort or transport or anything. Anybody that visits will die. So that's interesting. It's like a veteran / bodyguard combo. The Tracker is a town investigative role that can select a player every night to follow. It's basically like an inverse lookout, like they say here. That's the short and sweet summary of the Tracker. It's basically, instead of watching somebody to see who visits them, you watch somebody to see who they visit. Trapper. The Trapper has the ability to place traps at the player's house that will trigger on any visit. If the visiting player intended harm, the trap will use a basic attack and kill the player visiting, basically. No, will use a basic attack against the player and reveal the role of the player visiting. Okay, so it doesn't kill them, never mind. If the visit did not harm the player, then it will only reveal... Wait, hold on. Sorry, I misread that. If the visit did not harm the player, then it will trigger, only revealing the role of the player visiting. It takes one full night to build a trap, so you can never place a trap on night one. Traps persist until they die, or traps persist even after the death of the trapper. So basically, they persist until they're activated. It seems like an interesting role. It's basically, I mean, like they say in the description here, it's like a town protective / investigative hybrid. This seems a little bit overpowered, quite honestly, but because you literally choose somebody to protect. If they're attacked, I don't. It doesn't look like it's saying, because it's. Hold on, let's see this. So if the player visiting intended harm, the trap will use a basic attack against the player and reveal the role. So does that mean it kills them? Because obviously, if it killed them, then it would show the role in the graveyard the next day anyway. So I'm a little confused by that. If it kills the person that's trying to attack, this might be the most overpowered new town role right here, because it's like a bodyguard, but it's also basically like a consig for the town, and there's no risk to the trapper. Like if your trap kills the person visiting, you don't die like a bodyguard. So this seems like the most overpowered town role, honestly. And then let's move to Psychic, a town investigative role that will be given 3 roles every non-full moon night, at least one of which is evil. And on full moon nights, they will be given one player who is guaranteed to be good. I don't know. So I'm assuming this means that they will be given 3 roles like specific, like, so this guy is this role, this guy is this role, this guy is this role. That also seems a little bit overpowered because by the end of night 4, you will know 8 people's roles for sure. Now, granted, some of those people could die, but still, that seems a little overpowered. Um, but anyway, so, and now there are 2 new Mafia roles as well. This one I am probably the most excited for. This role looks really cool. The Ambusher. Our first ever Mafia killing role other than the initial release of the game, so basically other than Mafioso. Basically has the ability to wait outside a player's house and ambush one visitor, dealing a basic attack. So instead of picking a person to kill, you pick a person that you think the town will visit, and then you kill the person that visits that person. I really like this role. I think it has some really good potential for some really good outplay. So yeah, I really like this role. Hypnotist also seems like a pretty cool role as well. Cool idea. The Hypnotist is a mafia deception role that causes players to receive false feedback. Each night you can select a player to hypnotize. Hypnotized players will receive false feedback, such as the message saying that they were attacked but healed or that they were role blocked. Pretty straightforward. It's very, very deceptive role, so if there's no escort in the game, but you hypnotize somebody, they think there's an escort. So let's say you hypnotize the confirmed spy or the confirmed jailer or something like that, and they think there's an escort, that can really cause some confusion. So let's say you have one town support dead, 2 other people claiming like town support, or like, let's say this, you have 1 town support dead, 1 retributionist claim, and 1 escort claim, and then all of a sudden the confirmed jailer gets feedback saying that he was role blocked. The jailer's going to think, oh, the escort claim is consort. So I feel like this could be a really, really useful role as well. I think both of the new Mafia roles are actually really good. I'm really interested to play those. Then we get to the neutral roles. There's, how many new? There's 4 new. 3 of which we know. There's a mystery role. We'll get to that in a second. So Guardian Angel is basically like... I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. But the Guardian Angel is a neutral benign role who is assigned to target. They must protect for the game. They're able to heal and purge that player twice per game. When the player is healed and purged, they will become immune to voting for the next day. If your target dies, you become a survivor. So basically, it's like an assigned bodyguard, pretty much. It's like a bodyguard that is assigned... No, it's actually an assigned doctor. Let's say that, because they don't kill people, I don't think, at least from what I see. It's like an assigned doctor. It's your personal physician, if you will. Basically, at the beginning of the game, you get, if you're Guardian Angel, you get a player that you're supposed to guard, for the most part. And you can heal them twice or purge them, which I think purging deals with the Plague Bearer. We'll get to that in a second. And if your target dies, then you just become Survivor. So it's basically like an executioner, but a good executioner. Now, the one thing I am interested to see, because it is a neutral role, can it be assigned to an evil role? So as Guardian Angel, can you have the assignment of protecting a werewolf or a mafia or a coven member? It doesn't say, but I would assume so, since it's a neutral and not a town role. So we'll see about that. Pirate. This one looks really weird, cool, but also just kind of odd. But I kind of like it. A neutral chaos role that must plunder 2 players to win. This is done by way of a really cool UI specific to this role that uses reverse rock, paper, scissors logic. You may select a player to duel and plunder during the day, like a jailer does with the jail button. That night you are given 3 attack options, and the defending player has 3 defense options. Pick the right one to counter their defense and plunder their home, or pick the wrong one and they fight you off. So basically, it's like rock, paper, scissors during the night, and if you plunder 2 players, you win. It's an interesting mechanic. And then I guess after they win, they're like an executioner where they've already won and they just can decide to side with whatever faction. That's, out of all the new roles, this is the weirdest one. It's just odd. It's just like, all right, we're in this town investigative game where it's social deduction, and here's a role where you play rock, paper, scissors. But I mean, hey, it's an interesting concept. I'm interested to see how this plays out. And then Plague Bearer. This is probably the most intriguing out of all of them for me. I want to see if this seems both overpowered and overwhelmingly underpowered at the same time, and we'll get to that in here in a second. The Plague Bearer is a neutral chaos role that can infect a player with the plague. The plague spreads through visiting or being visited. Once all players are infected, the town is told the pestilence has been summoned, which is what the Plague Bearer turns into. Players are not told they are infected with the plague. Once the Plague Bearer turns into the pestilence, it gives invincible defense, powerful rampaging attacks, and deals a powerful attack to anyone who visits it. I'm assuming it can only win by itself or with survivors. This seems both overpowered and underpowered. Underpowered in the fact that the plague can only be spread by people visiting. So if the town investigatives die early, then I don't know how the plague bearer is going to be able to spread the plague to the entire town, unless they get lucky and hit the mafioso or one of the coven roles. But this also seems extremely overpowered because the second part here, where they turn into that pestilence, become invincible. And down here it says they are truly invincible. They can't be killed by anything. By werewolf, serial killer, arsonist, ignite, I'm assuming anything. They're invincible, gain powerful rampaging attacks, and deal powerful attack to anybody who visits. So this seems like this is the most intriguing role out of all of them for me. This is the one I want to, honestly, like, out of all these, this is the one I want to play the most, just to see how it works. I mean, I understand how it works, but just to see how easy it is. Because I feel like if you get the plague on everybody, this is a very overpowered role, but also can be very underpowerful. So, this is the most intriguing one. And then we get to the mystery role here at the bottom. They aren't saying what this role is. This is a neutral killing, random neutral, or any. They're not saying what it is. I like this. I like the mystery. Well done, devs. I like the mystery of this. I really want to know what this role is, so I'm really looking forward to this. So let's go back. Now that we've gone through all the roles, let's go back to here. Scroll down. Oh, and here's the rock, paper, scissors thing for the choose your attack for the pirate. All right. So, rotating game modes. This I like too. VIP game mode. This game mode has a list of town versus coven with a few neutrals splashed in. The point of this mode is protect or kill the VIP, depending on what side you are on. The VIP is randomly selected. Town members. The VIP is randomly selected town members and gets revealed to all of the town members as the VIP. This means you start the game knowing at least one good player if you are town. We think this mode will be a blast, and blah blah blah. This seems like a really fun role, especially if mode, I should say, not role, especially since the whole town will know. So the town detective is going to be on the VIP from the start. This seems like a really fun mode. Lower game mode. This mode will have a normal role list as well, and will link. Oh, lover. Sorry, I said lower. Will link random players together in the game in the bonds of love. If your lover dies, you will die as well. That mode forces you to know. Wait, hold on. Sorry. That mode forces you to question even confirmed teammates, as the lovers only live if they are last people alive. Will you ride into the sunset, or will you die of heartbreak? Well, let's talk about these two. So let's go into rivals. We'll talk about both of them at the same time. This mode works in a similar fashion to lovers mode, but reversed. The rivals must make sure their rival is dead and they live to the end of the game. So it's basically like an executioner on top of your normal role. I like both of these roles, honestly. I think this is really cool. So if you are a townie bonded to another townie and they die, then you die. Same thing for them. So if you're a townie and you are confirmed townie, but you're actually not townie, and then all of a sudden your lover dies and you're like, well, shit, never mind. So much for that strategy. And then the rivals mode is really cool as well. I think all three of these game modes are really cool. I'm really excited to play all three of them. And then this is low key really cool as well, especially for new players. And honestly, for me, sometimes it's that way you don't have to go to the wiki in the middle of a game, especially with transport. That role still confuses me. But anyway, we know the game can be confusing at times, especially when we have things like night immunity. Basically, it's like it's like a Wikipedia within the game, from what I'm getting. So, public test realm. The public test realm starts tomorrow. I'm recording this on the 16th of May. It starts tomorrow. Let's leave that. Now, I'm recording this at 8:22 at night. I'm going to post this as soon as it renders. I'm hoping that the public test realm is going to go up at midnight, and I can get in a game before I go to bed and get one of these games up for you guys tomorrow. If not, you guys are going to see a normal Town of Salem game for tomorrow because I have work tomorrow, so I can't obviously skip out on that. But after tomorrow, you're going to see a lot of this over the next couple weeks. You're going to see a lot of Coven, a lot of the new town roles. I hope I can purchase. I'm not sure if I'll be able to purchase scrolls if I can log into my account on the public testing. I'm not sure about that. But you're going to be seeing me play a lot of this, and then the update for the game, which is the Coven update, is available for purchase in early June. So that is the Coven update. That is my thoughts on the Coven update. Like I said, starting either tomorrow or the day after, depending on when the public test run becomes available, you're going to see pretty much exclusively Coven, Coven, what's the word I'm looking for? Coven content on the channel for the next week at least, probably. Just because, I mean, obviously we've played regular Town of Salem for years at this point, so everybody wants to play this. Everybody's interested in this. Everybody's excited for this. I'm excited to play every single one of these roles. Every single one of these roles looks really cool. Like, I don't think there's a single one of them that looks boring at all. So, I'm interested to play all these roles. I think there's some really cool ones. Like I said, I'm the most intrigued about the Plague Bearer. It depends on, I guess it depends on the game, honestly, if it's underpowered or overpowered. The thing I think is the most overpowered in the game is going to be, where is it? The Necromancer. that role seems, if you have that on your team as the Coven, you are extremely happy. So, that is my thoughts on the Coven update. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts. If you weren't aware of the update, I'm glad I could bring it to your attention. You're welcome. And I hope to see you guys in on the public test environment. I hope you guys enjoy the content because we'll be seeing a lot of this on the channel for the next couple weeks. And I'll see you guys in the Coven update.